Welcome back to the Posture Pros. I'm Dr. Dan with Dr. Pascal. So our goal with these Posture Pro videos is basically to give you great information in a short form so that you could help yourself get as healthy as you can, understand what you could do to improve your overall posture. And today we want to specifically address the 4 best exercises that you could do to bulletproof your lower back. Now, I think we all understand, like, we want to be happy, healthy, moving well, but the role of the spine is to protect the spinal cord and the nerves. A lot of times we don't really think of the spine as, what it's supposed to do, which is to protect the spinal cord and the nerves. So the healthier your spine is, the more flexible your spine is, the stronger it is, the more that you could protect your body for it to function and heal as best as it possibly can. And a lot of times we don't think of it, but all of those nerves that come out of the spine, they go places. They go to the muscles, they go to the tissues, they go to the organs. So when your spine functions well, your body functions well. So today we want to talk about strengthening and stabilizing your spine as best as it possibly can. Now, a lot of times we hear, patients come into the office and say, "Hey doc, I bent over to pick up a pair of socks and my back blew out," or "I twisted and I got something in the back seat and everything, I'm having shooting pains all over the place." So what is that actually from?
Well, and that's the hard part, is trying to explain to people that maybe that meaningless motion of picking up the pen off the floor or twisting to grab your seatbelt, where you felt the pop, where you felt the back go, is often not what caused the injury, right? Something tiny like that is not enough force to create damage to your spine and inflict pain or sideline you and have you bedridden. Normally, it's a buildup of problems over time, and the last thing that you did was it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, or the analogy of filling up a water bucket one drop at a time. Well, the last drop that makes everything flow over isn't necessarily the problem, right? And so we have to go back to what are some of the things that cause the spine to be predisposed to injury. And we've covered this on numerous other Posture Pro videos or YouTube videos of things like sedentary posture, having a weak core, lack of exercise. Diet is huge, right?
Yeah.
Disc degeneration. So there's all these things that we have to start considering of what can we do to keep our spine healthy to prevent these things from happening, or to prevent injuries when little simple daily tasks like putting on a seatbelt or picking up a sock, we don't want to put our back at risk while doing those simple little things, let alone go to the gym, exercise, lift weights and try to be strong and be healthy.
So a lot of times I look at it as almost an equation, which is how much pressure is coming onto your spine in terms of work day, sitting at a desk, a lack of flexibility, weakness, car accidents, all the stuff. And then what are you doing to keep your spine moving well? Adjustments, stretches, exercises, posture. So if there's more of one that's happening, it's going to tip the scales in that favor. So ideally, we want to add as many great things as we possibly can. And today, during this video, if we could strengthen your spine, we could keep your spine stable and keep your spine flexible, then you will be more resilient to when there is a slip, a fall, an accident. Your body will not crumble because of that one thing. You will be able to be a little bit more resilient. So today we're going to go over these 4 exercises. Those 4 exercises are the cat-cow, the bird dog exercise, the plank, and the hip bridge exercise.
Some of the benefits of doing the cat-cow are, number 1, it's a great exercise for spinal flexibility. As Dr. Dan mentioned, one of the key things to having a healthy spine is for it to be flexible. So this exercise allows us to get a full range of motion throughout the spine while getting recruitment of every individual segment. In other words, it allows us to move every bone basically from the tailbone all the way up to the top of the skull. Okay? So Dr. Dan's going to start. He's going to get into all fours, or on all fours. You'll notice, first things first, his hand is directly under his shoulder, his knee is directly under his hip, and his back is creating like this very nice tabletop. The first thing in this exercise is Dr. Dan is going to drop his belly button down towards the table. So he's going to get into what we call extension, right? So he's dropping his belly button down. He looks straight ahead. He's going to hold that for 2 to 3 seconds. Then he's going to reverse it. So now he's going to suck his belly button into his spine. So he's going to try and round his back, right? He's going to create as much rounding as he can here like this, really sucking that belly button in. It's a great exercise also to strengthen your abs and create an awesome six-pack. He's going to go belly button back down, head forward, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then get back into the belly button to the spine while rounding his back in flexion. So we go from extension to flexion, back and forth, always holding 2 to 3 seconds at each end position, and our goal is to do this for 2 sets of 10. Our second exercise, going into the bird dog. Great thing is you're starting in the same position, so you're on all fours. Some of the key benefits of the bird dog is that it's a cross crawl pattern, okay? Cross crawl, what does that mean? Well, Dr. Dan is going to start by lifting one arm. He's going to test his stability with an arm, okay? Then he's going to try the other arm to see, does he have the same stability on the other arm? Good. Once we can do both arms and stay stable, he's then going to test one leg. Very good. And then he's going to test the next leg. So we're testing each individual limb. Now the goal with this exercise is to avoid as much movement in the core as possible. So imagine that we had like a tray of drinks on Dr. Dan's back. And when he's going to do this exercise, he wants to stay as stable as possible. So if you were able to move individual limbs without sort of kind of falling over to the side, we're going to do them together. So you're going to go opposite arm and opposite leg and squeeze. And you'll notice from his fingertips all the way down to his heel, he's in one straight line. He's going to hold that for 2 to 3 seconds, and then he's going to switch to the next arm. Now, when you're doing the opposite arm and opposite leg, it is significantly more challenging on the core and stability. So this is a wonderful exercise to gain core stability with an unstable position. And the nice thing with the cross crawl is that we're moving across the spine. It is fantastic for the low back and the SI joints to protect and strengthen them. Exercise number 3, the plank. Now the plank might be the most basic of the 4 exercises, but its application is fantastic because in a plank position, really what we're doing is creating perfect posture and using gravity as a resistance tool. In other words, Dr. Dan is going to get into this plank and you can see that from the ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle, we have this perfectly straight line. So if you could imagine that he was standing, this would be fantastic posture. Now the benefit is that gravity is pushing him down and challenging his core to resist and try and hold this position. So gravity is basically being a form of resistance to strengthen his core. So he's going to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. Then he's going to take a break, and he would repeat that 2 to 3 times. Now if this position is a little bit too challenging, what we're going to do is start that position from the elbows and from the knees, okay? So we're shortening the lever. So basically now from the elbow to the knee, we have a shorter distance. It makes it a little bit easier on the core, and we can start in this position. The principles are the same. We want the ear in line with the shoulder, hip, and knee. You're going to hold it for 20 seconds, and then you'll repeat that 2 to 3 times. Lastly, our 4th exercise is called the hip bridge. So this is the one where you're going to turn over onto your back. The hip bridge is a fantastic exercise to strengthen what's called the posterior chain of the lower body. We hear a lot now, you know, in the physical therapy world, the athletic therapy world, and any type of sports injuries and rehab, oftentimes you hear that, you know, my hamstrings are weak, or my hamstrings are underactive, or doc, I'm not recruiting my glutes. I hear this stuff all the time, right? So we're sitting all day, we're not using those muscles, they get weak, underactive, and they lead to lower body injuries and really back problems. So here's a very simple exercise that you can do at home to strengthen both the glutes and the hamstrings. So as you notice, Dr. Dan's on his back, his knees are bent, right, creating about a 45-degree angle with the legs. His hands are down to his sides. He's going to start this exercise by basically pushing down through his heels and squeezing his bum and trying to lift his hips up to the sky. When he gets to that end range, that's perfect. What you'll notice is, again, that straight line, knee, hip, shoulder. It's a perfectly straight line. So he's strengthening the glutes and the hamstrings while also stretching and opening the front of the hips. He has 2 choices. He can hold this for 20 to 30 seconds like the plank, and then rest and repeat that 2 or 3 times. Or, if that's too challenging, we'll do 2 to 3 second holds and repeat it more frequently for a total of 20 repetitions, right? So either, again, 20 to 30 second hold, and you're going to repeat it 2 to 3 times, or doing 2 to 3 second contractions and trying to get a total of 20 repetitions. So one thing that you'll have noticed with all 4 of those exercises, the key theme every time is to engage the core. The stronger our core, the more we learn how to engage it, the more protected our spine will be, hence the expression bulletproofing your low back, right? And some of the key components, again, include flexibility, cross crawl, the posterior chain being stronger, and then working that posture by using gravity to assist you.
So the key thing about these exercises is, yes, they're going to be great. They're going to help you stabilize and strengthen your spine. But this is not a one-all thing where it's like this exercise is now going to eliminate all my problems. Just like we talked about earlier, it's, again, that equation of, okay, what pressures are coming in and what are we doing to alleviate and get our spine moving and functioning better. So what could we do to decrease bad habits is still something that we want to be very conscious of in terms of sitting, moving, how you're picking things up, your adjustments, and also your traction exercises to help your spine change into as best of a position as possible. So again, I hope that this video helped you maybe understand a little bit more about what you can do to help yourself bulletproof your lower back.